Ah, you want some more, eh? You're back down on the floor.
Oh, down on the floor.
Down on the floor. Coming up.
Nope.
How are you? Great. Pop. Good. Pop. Good. All around. Good. Great. Oh my gosh, doing the theater for community is so amazing. Broadway is great, and that's pretty much everybody's goal, but it's very limited, it's very difficult, it's very competitive. Theater in the community is very open, very inviting. It takes many people at all different levels, whether you've never been on stage to those who have been on stage thousands of times. You get to meet so many new different people, and many of them are from all over Long Island. You get to meet new people, do different things. I met my wife through doing theater in community, and when you talk to many people who are married doing theater, they will always tell you they met their spouse doing community theater. So that has a great benefit, but it is just a remarkable experience and very rewarding.
'Tis the golden helmet of Mambrino. When worn by one of noble heart, it renders him impervious to all wounds. Misbegotten knave, where didst thou steal it?
Well, I didn't steal it.
Hand it over.
But it cost me half a crown.
Hand it over! Shout it out!
Well, first of all, it's an outlet to be able to use a talent that maybe you don't have the good fortune to do as a professional, to be able to do that. But the word community is in there as well, and you make a lot of great friends, and it really allows you to express yourself and make friends and put together in a community spirit a really fine production, something that makes people happy. It's not necessarily your full-time job, but it's still a way of delivering the message of the play, the message of community, with a bunch of people for the folks of Long Island.
Well, I started in community theater actually the summer from 8th grade into 9th grade, where a local community theater was putting on a production of Camelot. And that really whet my appetite for participating in shows. And it was a group that was involving young people, and actually it was called Young People's Theater, where high school students had the opportunity to perform, direct, and produce shows. So when I was a junior in high school, I actually took over the role of producer for a production of Anything Goes. The subsequent year we did Oliver, and I moved over to the assistant director position. From there I was involved in high school theater, college theater, other community theaters. When I was in college I was hired by a number of community theaters throughout Long Island to direct their productions. As a matter of fact, when I was directing for the Rockwell Center Guild for the Arts back in 1985, I met my wife through that production. And so I've had very fond experiences of community theater. In terms of what led me to starting my own theater company and the skills, I really acquired those organizational skills that are really required for both a producer and a director. There are a lot of creative people out there who are perhaps disorganized. They can have great visions and stuff, but don't have the ability, because of their creative nature, to pull it all together. But brain research has shown us there's the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, and I have strengths in both those areas. So not only can I have the vision of a director and a producer, but I also have the organizational skills and the communication skills to execute all those ideas.
Pretty much when I came to Plaza to work in the office, I came with a lot of those skills already from being in the workforce. One thing that community theater helped me, that helps me in the job today, is the communications with the public. Doing the community theater, being a shy person that I used to be, and then coming out, the community theaters brought myself out to be friendly to people, able to talk very easily to people. So here I am constantly on the phone. I'm dealing with the people who are purchasing their tickets, the people who are booking shows, and you've got to sell the show to these people, and you have to be able to talk to these people and be very calm, relaxed, and I think community theater really helped me in that area. So all of that carried over to my job here at Plaza, which I believe is really very helpful to Plaza itself.
I have performed with the community theater. When I was 13, I was in Jesus Christ Superstar, and this was in the San Francisco Bay Area where I grew up. And they had already cast the show when I auditioned, but I gave a really good audition, and they really wanted to use me, and they wanted to foster my talent. And they cast me as sort of like the 13th apostle, even though there are only 12. They decided to make me like the water boy at the Last Supper. So I was like pouring water for all the apostles, and they split up the solo with Simon, so I got to have half of his solo. He wasn't too happy about that, but yeah, they decided to take me in, and it was such a great experience. It was my first experience, working with other people who love theater and learning a lot from them, and just, being in that environment with the backstage antics and feeling just sort of that community from the get-go, and how quickly they took me in was really special.
Thank you.
I think the biggest difference between community theater and Broadway, I guess, would be sort of the budget, the overall professional aspect of it. A lot of these smaller community theaters don't have the money to put on a big spectacle show like Aladdin, for example. So maybe the sets won't be as visually, amazing, or you can't do magic tricks coming up through the bottom of the stage. It's a lot of it is hands-on work, and at the end of the run, a lot of times you're breaking down the set with everybody else, and that's just part of the community. And I've done summer stock work where it's like that as well. It's very similar in that you are doing a show at night and rehearsing for another show during the day, and you'll do a season like that, and you'll really get a sense of the community and everybody working together like a team to put up a show.
I think we have to get used to this space, like this. And if we can do it here in this minimal space, we can do it pretty much anywhere.
You'll be up
So-
anyway. You're definitely getting it because you're going to be up. We're at 2.
Um, So I say let's play it here. You guys, obviously, everyone up front, be aware of, Kyle, Kim, and Jack. Booth, yeah, I don't know where I can up with Jack. Well, Jack Hayes in it, right?
I think just doing community theater really prepares you for the professional world. I mean, it lets you see. You're learning not just to be an actor on stage. You get to see the backstage as well. You get to see how the stage manager, is able to run the show and call the show. You get to see the front of house staff and the ushers, and you get to experience everything, And that's not to say you don't experience that when you get up to a higher level, but it's a lot more sort of on the periphery, and it's hidden. It's not as much bare bones theater as community theater is.
It's really the scope of the productions, in terms of scenery, in terms of budgets, in terms of costumes, special effects, orchestra size. That's what I really think it has to do with the scope of the whole production.
Look, dost thou see him? A madman dressed for a masquerade.
Okay, well, actually, the last thing I did with Plaza, I did a Young Frankenstein, and we were doing a show outside, and it was really windy that day, and we had a whole background thing, because it was a classroom, so we had a huge chalkboard, and the actor was doing lines, and I believe he was in the middle of a song. He was doing song dialogue, and all of a sudden we start seeing the back thing wobbling, and then we're thinking on stage, we stay in character, but in all of our heads we're thinking, all right, that's about to go down. What's about to happen? And so basically it happened at the perfect moment, because he was talking about like something collapsing, and then as he hit the line, the thing crashed over the whole set and people had to jump up, and that's just basically, I feel like that wouldn't happen in a Broadway production, you know? That's something you could only really see at community theater and stuff like that.
Do something fun.
I know, it usually doesn't bother
Do something
me.
fun.
Once in a while, like I'll go,
I know. I have
like,
to do it. I have to
it's
do
like being on a ship. Every once in a while you're like,
it. Where are we when I do it?
It teaches you definitely to improv, it teaches you to stay on your feet, and it teaches you not to think of the show as a routine, to do the show as like the first time you're doing it, and to try and think like, all right, you don't really know what's going to happen, because even though it's a show and it's scripted, you really have no idea what's going to happen. So as comfortable as you may be, there's still maybe things to keep you on your toes, and I think that's a great skill that people should have.
We talked about Jesus Christ Superstar, and you know, I had to wear my little tights, and I was running around the stage pouring water for the apostles, and there was this girl in that cast that was really pretty, and I had a crush on her. And there's the scene where, you know, we're all sitting around pretending to drink wine, and we're all da 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 da, you know that song. I forget the name of it, but you know, it's the end of the day, and everyone's sort of just lounging, and I was with her, and she was with me, and it was just sort of this romantic thing, and I was like, wow, I'm where I'm meant to be. I mean, it was probably hormones telling me that, you know, mostly, but I was like, wow, this is a great way to meet girls, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
I was very shy in high school. I didn't talk much. I've kept to myself. Once I started getting involved with community theater, it brings more of your inner personality out. And even then, my first year in community theater, I was the quiet one. I was the guy in the back row. No lines, just stand there and everything. But as you continue in community theater, they welcome you, and you start getting involved, and before you know it, you're out of your shell. So it really opens you up, and then people get to see who the real you are, and you just blossom into a better person.
Community theater made me feel whole, it made me feel special, it made me feel important, and the message of shows, it was always so important to me when I directed or I was involved with the shows, that the true message of the show came across, so that it would have an impact on other people and would make an impact on their lives and how they think and what they do.
I don't think I'd be here today if I hadn't gotten my start working in community theater. It's sort of like paying your dues for a professional actor. I did cruise ships, theme parks, community theater. I did everything to sort of get my experience level up. And then by the time I came to New York City, I had a little bit of experience already, and it helped me for sure. I trained at NYU and got a BFA in theater there. And I might not have gotten into NYU if I didn't already have a little bit of that experience already. And really, it just gives you the love of theater. That's the main thing. I think if you are fortunate enough to work in a good community theater, you'll have people around you who love theater as well, and that will rub off on you, and it'll help you propel you to the next stage.